Recording. I got the chat open. Okay, so hello. I am joining you in my robe that I've been wearing all day. I feel like I just looked up and it's time for the Zoom, which is crazy, but I hope everyone, I just want to start this by saying I know today is a really intense day I said this in the chat, for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, right? So I don't want this to be something that brings that heaviness, with it. I want to do something today that still brought us together, that still gave you a resource to hopefully take a little bit of stress off of your plate. Talk about food, which is always a great thing. And I'm here for anybody if you need to discuss anything. I don't judge anybody. I just really want everyone to pull through this time period, whatever end of the spectrum you're on. So I am here in total neutrality for my clients. I care about you regardless, so if you do need that support, definitely reach out. I'm always here for you. Okay. So for the rest of today, though, we're going to focus on this stuff, right? Because everything will still exist outside of it. So let's jump in. My phone's always open. Mwah, kisses. Okay. So hello, everybody. I know I started that out with kind of like a deeper tone, but I am, as per usual, excited to deliver today's talk. I really wanted to have a meal plan that wasn't a meal plan, because I figured when I was posting, I don't know if you guys remember this, when I was posting like the meals of the month or whatever, it was just that one graphic that I was putting up in the page, and it just had like a basic grocery list on it. It didn't have any actual meals or anything like that. But I feel like people told me it was still helpful to see as an overall guide. Then I thought, I feel like a lot of us neurodivergent people really love the idea of strategy and like structure, and then we have a hard time sticking to it. So I went the route of like, okay, well, let me give you a quote unquote meal plan, like a good old fashioned meal plan where it's the breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. It's all listed there for you. But I don't feel that that is like the most neurodivergent friendly. I wasn't using that. I didn't want to, like, I didn't know how to just, put you guys on it so that you had to be strict with it. Like, I just felt like something was off about the formatting. So I chatted with one of our awesome clients and amazing graphic designer, Molly. We worked on this together, and I asked her, I said, how can we optimize this? Like, I want to help people have inspiration for meals. I want to give some kind of like a guide, and then I realized that there's kind of a formula to how I build my meals. And then we also realized, like, why does it have to be breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday through Friday? Like, maybe that's the component that's off. Where if we left it like we focused more on the formula and then gave you some inspiration each week, I feel like that's lax, but it's still enough guidance and tell me what you guys think. Tell me in the chat. It's still relaxed, but it still gives enough guidance where you feel like you're getting ideas of like how to apply it. So that's what we're going to go over today. We're going to go in depth. We're going to go over what we posted in the Facebook page, and we're tweaking like the actual final rollout of how we're going. Like, this is going to be the gist of what we're doing, but we might, like, next week, we might post it in one link rather than multiple pictures. That might change, but the concept of everything, like how it works, the process of it, I should say, that is going to stay the same. And that's what I'm going to explain to you guys today. Okay, so definitely seems more neurodivergent friendly. Thank you. That's what we're going for. Nice ease of use and, excitement. So I'll get into that. First, I want to talk a little bit about, I mentioned something I am really excited for. I've done various quote unquote challenges throughout my time doing this with you guys, having clients, having CCA. And I've called it a challenge, and I've never really been happy with that term, because I don't know about you, when I think of like a timed challenge, it seems like we're going to be doing something really hard. Like, it's like, reminds me of, what is it, like 75 hard and stuff like that. And that's not my spiel. That's never my spiel. So I don't like calling them challenges, right? But I was thinking about it, and I was like, I think I was also talking to Molly, I think, about this. And I was like, how else can we frame it so it's a focus, it's a timed focus, but it doesn't feel like a challenge. And she suggested the word club. And that started getting, instead of like, you're part of the hormone club or whatever. And that started becoming something to me. Like that planted a seed where I was like, what if we just have a specific club? And it's not like, you can come and go as you please. You're not like stuck in or anything. But what if we had a club, and in this club, we had various time periods where we did a focus session or a focus cycle, where from this date to this date, if you're in the Happy Hormones Club, then you're going to be a part of this focus session where we will be giving you additional resources. And in between those timed focus sessions, you'll still get extra resources. You'll get extra little recipes and stuff like that. I want it to become a little community within a community. Some people might utilize the CCA community for just the recipes on the page, for the Facebook, for the Spotify, whatever. Some people might want to have more of that involved interaction with each other, whatever. But the Happy Hormones Club, I feel like, is a group within a group. And in that, from November 11th to the 29th, we're going to do our first focus session. So each week, I'm going to be giving you guys a separate recipe. You'll get cooking videos. We're going to do a weekly check-in. I'll be sending you like a daily mindset focus. And it's all going to be centered around getting into the holiday season and not letting the different things that comes with affect our hormones and stop our results. So if you want to be in that group, you can expect, a week, like I said, a weekly check-in, a daily little message I'll send in there, and then extra resources for you to use accordingly, with the goal of staying the course before the holidays and it not, affecting you or stopping your results. So if you want to be a part of that, the Happy Hormones Club, that kicks off, like I said, on the 11th, but I'll be posting more information and the WhatsApp group to join. I'll be posting that in the Facebook page tomorrow. So look out for that. Okay. And I just love that it's called like a Happy Hormones Club. Like, it's not like, I don't know. I felt like it cheapened it doing like a little challenge or whatever, when really I wanted it just to be a little focus session, like a little group. So that's what we're going to do. So keep an eye out for that. Okay. So Bite Builder. Okay. So now if you can, how do I have this notes written? I want you to open up to the page, to the post in the Facebook group. Okay. So I also posted it in the WhatsApp chats as well. It's the Bite Builder little formula, little sheet there, the chart. So if you can pull that up and read it along with us, it's in the WhatsApp chat, and it's also on the Facebook page in the comments of the post, the Bite Builder post. Okay. So, well, tell me in the chat. Tell me when you got it. I see Lisa said, I feel like when you hear challenge, it takes me immediately to the weight loss or quick stuff, but not the nice, sustainable things that we are learning. Exactly. It just feels surface level, All right, Alexis, you got it. Who else? Is anyone else ready? Got it, got it. Okay, so what we got here is, it's the basics, right? Are you going to think of like I don't have lamb on here. I don't have goose on here. Could you change it? Absolutely. But basically the stuff on this list is to give you the ideas, the base putting together of things. So it streamlines like how you don't have to rely on a recipe per se. Very rarely when I cook do I actually use a recipe. Like, sure, if I see a really good video online or something, to be honest, I usually will probably just save it and then never open it again, or like send it to someone and then never look at it again. But on the occasion I do make something, okay, I use a recipe. But that's not in my everyday life. That's not, especially not during busy work days or days I have tons of calls and stuff. That's just not feasible in my brain. To some people it might be. In my brain, to like finish what I'm doing all day and then be like, let me get the recipe, let me gather the ingredients. It's just, what was the meal service that they send you like there's a bunch now, I think, but like they send you all the stuff to make it. And HelloFresh, Nick just reminded me, HelloFresh. There's like a bunch now, but it's great in concept. I'm sure it works for a lot of people, but just for me with my brain, the formality of having to like follow something to a T when I know, because I know what I'm going to teach you guys, that I could just throw it together and it still works out. Like the decision fatigue at the end of the day, you'd think the recipe would be easier, but like following instructions feels like the most exhausting thing in the world. I don't know if anyone feels me with like recipes on a weekday. It's just tiring, you know? So this, I tried to think of a way to depict how my thought process is around cooking. So the way the conversation works with Nick and I in the mornings, you know, we go to, and by the way, I'm not perfect with this. We definitely forget to thaw stuff. So I just want to put that out there. That could be the challenge of all of this, you know? But on a day that it's not, I say to Nick, okay, what meat should I take out in the morning? Like we decide which one. We have the same basic ones in the freezer, chicken, ground beef, or ground turkey, whatever's on sale. Like we have stuff already in the freezer. And then we'll just pick one, pick a protein. If it's going to be, Nick doesn't like tofu, but I do. So I wish that tofu was one of the proteins. But like if it's going to be a tofu night, then obviously I won't take anything out. Okay. But like all we think about in the morning, not the whole dish, not anything else besides which meat should we take out. So we take that out, and then later on when it's time to cook it, we think about, okay, what is the method that we want to make this? So I know that sounds like kind of silly to think about, but if you see here, I have air fried, grilled, sauteed in a pan, boiled, baked, poached. Again, are there other ways to cook? Yes, but these are the basics. Because they all cause a different texture, they all cause a different flavor. They do something different to the overall meal. Like the way you prepare something impacts those things, right? So it could add to the flavor. And I granted I have the leg up with some culinary school, but that's what I'm gonna do the call in depth on next week. It's gonna be the methods. So we're gonna go over how to do them, what effect it causes, what texture it causes, combinations of things that go into them. We'll get more in depth on that next week. But then we think of when we're ready to cook, all we say is how are we preparing it? So then we think about, okay, what flavor are we into right now? If you guys are follow along with how I cook and like a lot of my stuff, I am an absolute sucker for the trifecta: soy sauce, sesame oil, garlic salt. It's just so good on everything. I swear, I don't know why. It's just, I don't get sick of it. Even though it's like the base, I feel like what you using it in different ways, like with different meats or sides or whatever, it's different each time. But um that's my base, that's like my base go-to, right? You see it in a lot of my stories. Becca, I got kimchi after you posted it. It stinks, but it's so good. I love it so much. Nick refuses to try it. So, okay, we get, don't throw it out. There's a really good deal at Costco on kimchi. It's like $7 for a giant vat of it. It's really good. It's not vegan though. So anyway, protein, we pick that out in the morning, right? Method, we figure out how we're gonna make it. So you know, we figure out based on that, we think of the flavors, right? So let's say we're going to bread something and fry it, right? Or we'll go with that. We're gonna bread, I have some chicken, we're gonna bread it, fry it up. What kind of flavor do I want with that? Do I want something that's more like Italian style? It's more like red sauce and cheese. Do I want something that's like citrusy? You know, like what kind of flavor am I into right now? Usually for me, that's the sesame oil, soy sauce, and the garlic salt. But then you think of the flavor, right? And that's what you build off of. How do you incorporate that? So now you have your meat, you have a preparation, you have a flavoring of the direction of the meal you want to take it in. Then you got to think of the sauce or like the dressing that goes with it, like I was saying. Is it red sauce because it's Italian style? Are you doing like olive oil and lemon to make it citrusy? Like I said, I'm gonna go into ideas for all this, so we'll go a step further. But are you guys getting the concept so far? Are you seeing the building blocks that are going into thinking about how to make it? Because then it sounds a lot, right? But like, let's do something easier than breading and frying. We're gonna make something in the air fryer, right? So chicken thighs in the air fryer, right? I'm gonna air fry it so that therefore I want to like quote unquote marinate it. I do air quotes because I don't leave it long. I just kind of coat it. So I'll coat it with the sauce and the flavors that I want, and then I'll cook it in the air fryer. That's not hard to throw some shit in a bag and then put the chicken in the air fryer. It's just so you're just thinking this through. You're not following a recipe. So is this making sense? What are you guys thinking? How you thinking about it? It's not stinky. That's extra flavor that gets to your nose first. Listen, since I've been eating it, I don't actually find it like a bad smell. I find it like a culinary, like it's like a savory smell to me now. But before I actually ate kimchi, I was like, it is so pungent, you know? And I love flavor and like I'm not a bland kind of gal, but it was the 1-2 punch. Now I eat it, I'm like, that's delicious. I smell it and I'm like, I want kimchi. So I'm just saying you should, Nick's talking shit. I'm just saying you should try kimchi and then you'll understand. You won't even taste it. Okay. Anyway, there's a really good vegan kimchi that Target usually has in the refrigerated section by the yogurt. It's good to know. It's Lucky Foods Seoul kimchi and it's amazing. Love it. I have a question about cutlets when you're done explaining. Yes, okay. Full disclaimer, I hate doing them. Like Nick will do them for me because I hate getting stuff on my hands. But I'm there for moral support and I can answer your question because I do technically know. I just don't want to. Just wait till you try pickled daikon. Oh, I love daikon radish, period. Full stop. Like I just love daikon radish. So I can only imagine it pickled. I follow it's Logan's Foods, I think it is on Instagram. But it's Logan, the guy on TikTok that makes like the cucumber salad. He does a pickled daikon and he does like kimchi and stuff from scratch and it just looks so delicious. Ugh. My favorite daikon thing is I'll take a veggie peeler. Daikon radish for everyone who's like, what the hell is that? It's like imagine a radish, but in like a long, like carrot, like thicker carrot, like parsnip type situation. And it's not spicy. It's like more watery. It's like super refreshing. I love it. But you take a veggie peeler and you peel off like the outside schmutz, but then you just keep ribboning it. You just keep peeling it so that it ends up being like long, thin strips. You don't need a mandolin or anything. I'll make a salad with just that, and it's just so good. I love it. I have to buy some next time I go now. Okay, before we move, I'll explain this and then we'll get back to the cutlet question. Okay, I see you. Thank you for sending it. So we got the protein, we got the method, we got the flavor we're going for. So we're putting it all together. And then you're thinking about, is it a sauce? Is it a dressing or like a marinade, quote unquote? Like how are you imparting this flavor? And a lot of times for the sauce, you just use some kind of a sauce base. Like I throw together sauces all the time, right? Like, we'll go into this more next week. I have to stop myself from tangenting. But, you start with something creamy like yogurt or sour cream or mayo or you could do, trying to think for our dairy-free friends. You could do, you could do dairy-free yogurt. They have unflavored. You know what would probably be good? I want to explore more with it, but like pistachio paste, you can make something with. You can use mustard as a base. I'll do some crazy things with ketchup a lot of times, and just mix it with other stuff. It's just like when you were a kid and you just made like potion, quote unquote, at the table at like the diner. That's what we're doing, but with elevated things. We're just throwing it in there. I promise, play around a little. You're probably better at flavor combining than you give yourself credit for. So I think a lot of times it's just having the confidence to mix stuff. So you got that. Then you want to think of your sides. Now, I've done Zooms on sides before about, I did one that was like, it's like 20-minute sides or something like the veggie sides. Every time I say sides, I think of Wolf of Wall Street, if anyone knows the scene. Because I can feel Nick like smiling about it next to me as I'm saying sides. Every oh God, I love that movie so much. Anyway, um, there are tons of really easy sides. And when you have the main component to your meal, or you have like the protein done, which is usually the hardest part, honestly, when it comes to veggies or any kind of side dish, you want to think about it as kind of the same way. How are you going to cook it? How are you going to flavor it? And I'll go over that more with you next week. But this is how we build every single dinner. The size of the dinner depends on how many different sides we do. We do various different types of meats. And this is basically the formula that we throw together our whole dinner using without that much thought. Now, and also when I post it for you guys, it's going to come along, whether I do the multiple slides like I did this time on the Facebook page, or we're going to experiment with doing it all in one link to see if we can keep it together. There's also, if you guys can head over to the Facebook post, where is it? And click that link. It should be in the comment that says meals. Yeah, so we're working on the formatting of this right now. So we're trying to figure out the best way to I don't know. I screenshot it, and now I'm just blowing it up because you can't expand it on the actual link itself. So I got it pulled up here. If you look, these are the recipes that we're going to give you along with them. We're going to give you a few of each different type of breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, just for inspiration. Now you can use that and you can, let's say you like the way one of the recipes, I think we're going to go with poached eggs for one of the breakfasts this week. So you might look at that and say, well, that's the protein I want to use, that's the method I want to do. I want to poach it, but I want to do a different sauce. I want different flavoring. Every kind of meal you see is customizable if you put it into chunks like that, if you think about in categories. So we're going to give you some inspo recipes to go along with it, and each week they'll be new so that it feels fresh, but it's basically utilizing this process to throw it all together, and it's interchangeable with the different proteins or the different sauces that you have on hand. Okay, so that's what's going to come with it. So the recipes that you're going to get, the amount is for 1 to 2 people or so. So if you want to end up making these recipes for your family or more people for a party or whatever, just multiply the recipe accordingly based on the serving size. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is this ChatGPT prompt. So Molly and I were both, I think, in agreement here that when you clicked the link to look at the recipes and the grocery list, it looked like a nightmare because it was just this huge list of stuff. So technically, I was giving you guys the grocery list for all of the recipes, right? And if you were starting with a kitchen that has nothing each week, you would have to buy everything on that list, sure. But you obviously don't need to buy all of that stuff every single week, right? So it just became kind of daunting to look at. And I think I could understand personally, if I saw that, I may not even want to read the recipes. I'd just be like, oh, too much. I don't know. I don't take offense if any of you guys thought that too. So instead, you can utilize ChatGPT to produce your grocery list. And there's a prompt in here with how to do it. So you gather your recipes, you get all the recipes together. Then you go open up ChatGPT. I just use chatgpt.com, right? And then you say, can I send you several recipes to create a shopping list? Please don't duplicate products. Just provide the amount needed for each item in total. So this way it doesn't tell you, if 3 of the recipes use the same thing, it's not going to tell you to buy it 3 times. Okay. Basically, you're asking it to just populate a list for you. So, and then it says, sure, send it over. And then you just copy and paste your recipes in there and it'll populate you a grocery list. So it's there for you. I also feel like if you're not going to make like all the recipes, right? You might look at one recipe, look at it and say, oh, I have this, I need to get this. Like you might not need a grocery list. So instead of us having to include it every single time, we gave you the prompt there if you want it to help you make the list. And if not, I feel like the recipes aren't that intense, right? For us to need to give you the list. So that is the ChatGPT response. And then there are the recipes to follow. So like I said, we're still working on the formatting of this. I think we really want to make it like very user friendly, very neurodivergent user friendly, so that it's just easily implementable, something that's exciting, realistic to use and inspirational. We want to see what you guys come up with. So questions on this, thoughts on this? I'm a feedback queen, so I would love to know what you guys are thinking about this new kind of system we're using. Is anything confusing or convoluted? I won't take offense. Tell me in the chat while I read this cutlet question. Tell me in the chat. Questions, thoughts, likes, dislikes, confusion, whatever. I'm reading this here. I love Molly's answer here. Yeah, but so the question for those of you who are listening in the recording, I really struggle with making meals lately, but I can make a batch of cutlets. Question is, better to prep them all and then freeze uncooked or cook them and then freeze? So, and then I like what Molly said is it's really, up to you, whatever's easiest for you. But I do agree that they'll be juicier if you freeze them breaded and then go ahead and fry them off. I feel like there's more potential for the breading to fall off and it not be as even if you freeze them breaded but not cooked. But I also think that there's a lot of potential for them to dry out if you cook them ahead of time. So what I would do is, if I'm trying to put myself in the same position, cutlets really don't last around here, I'm gonna be honest with you. But if I were to prep ahead to have them throughout the week, and you're thinking about it in terms of fatigue, I think it would probably be easier. Okay, nuance. See how you feel. If it's a day that you can actually handle not only prepping them all, but also frying them off, I would do that so that during the week when you're on your lowest energy days, like your high fatigue days, you can just take one out of the freezer, warm it up, and it's done. You don't have to then like think about frying up a cutlet or cooking off a cutlet when you feel like crap. You just have to warm it up. So I think that's kind of the way I would look at it. If it's a day where you don't have a lot of energy and you just can prep them, then maybe see how you feel the next day and fry them off. Or if not, stick them in the freezer. Like spend one day, use your energy to bread them, leave them in the fridge. The next day, if you feel up to it, fry them off. If it's still a no, then you could just stick them in the freezer uncooked. And then you just have to make up for it during the week. That's at least how I would proceed with it for ease. Okay. I never knew how to use ChatGPT, so that's a good start. Hell yeah. So it's super easy. Wait, where did the question go? I saw it. Okay. I never knew how to use ChatGPT, so that's a good start. Yeah, it's just chatgpt.com. You can literally ask it anything. I always say, I'm old, so I don't know who remembers Ask Jeeves, back in the day. But I always feel like ChatGPT is like what you wished Ask Jeeves was, where it's like you want like your internet concierge. It's great. It populates stuff for you. You can use it for so many things. Maybe I'll do a Zoom. Maybe I'll do a Zoom on like all fun, useful things you can use ChatGPT for, if anyone would be into that. Um, Gabrielle, I like it. It feels very food ick friendly. If there's a food you're not into that particular week, for sure. Sometimes, like right now, I'm on a big kick with when I say breaded chicken, by the way, I don't mean like dip it in egg and then dip it in flour. Like we will take chicken thighs, cut them down, and then toss them in a bag with like some cornstarch and gluten-free flour and just shake it up and coat it and then brown it. And to me, that's like quote unquote breading. I'm really into that. I might not be in a couple weeks, but at the end of the day, then I can make chicken thighs a different way or not do chicken thighs and I can make a different meat into a stir fry. Like it's very interchangeable. You just have this like I think of like I don't know why this came to mind, but do you know the movie Clueless where she has the closet that has like you like pick what you want to wear and it like goes around. It's like all computerized and stuff like that. It's like I don't know, in my brain, it's like you're doing that with your meal. You're just picking the method, the flavor, the item, and it pieces together. Screw a recipe when you're busy. So, oh my God, I keep losing my place. I don't like the way they structure the replies here. Okay. Any insights on defrosting them or how to recook them if I freeze them already cooked? Usually they don't last here. I would put them in their own, like, I don't know, it's a waste with a lot of bags. You can probably plastic wrap each one really well and then store them in a gallon bag, right? So you can take out one at a time. They're not gonna stick together or whatever. You take one at a time and then air fry is usually my favorite way to go if you have an air fryer, because you don't have to preheat anything. You just throw it in there and it comes out crispy. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily microwave it. I'd probably stick it in the oven at like 350 until it's warmed through. Just make sure you don't dry it out. If you do, get some lemon juice and some olive oil and dip, dip, dip. Just like dip and eat. And it just like, I don't know. I'm terrified I'm gonna until I got a meat thermometer. I've always been terrified I'm gonna undercook chicken. So I have definitely shoe leathered a few chickens in my day. And lemon and olive oil saves the day. Um, okay. I feel you with the breading falling off thing. That's one of my cooking sore spots still. I noticed it sticks if I air fry them though. If I pan fry it, not so much. Absolutely. Especially if you're doing gluten-free, because gluten is really like the structure in things. When you remove that, you remove the structure, right? So breading, the reason that people will do like the egg and then the flour, or no, they do the flour, then egg, then the breadcrumb, it tends to stick better. When you're using a gluten-free replacement, a lot of times it slides right off, especially if you're just doing like an egg dip or whatever. And it just annoys, I get really overstimulated and pissed off. Like I'll throw a cutlet. So I I don't like breading. I like the product, but not the process. And if I do them, like I was talking to someone today, forgot who I was talking to. Oh, one of my clients, I was giving her Costco find ideas. So Costco has really cheap giant pieces of salmon, right? Well, it's cheap when you think about how much you get for the money, I should say. It's like 20 bucks, I think, and you get like a bunch of dinner portions out of it. So I was explaining that what I do is I cube it up and then I'll put like a sauce on it. Again, using this format without I have to remember I'm gonna do this next week, but whatever. Sneak peek. You take the sauce or whatever you're doing, like a creamier base sauce. You brush it all over your your salmon cubes, and then you roll it around in crushed nuts or uh, gluten-free panko or anything like that. And then the real key to this is just placing it in your air fryer and air frying it till it's done. Because if you touch the sides or move it around too much, the breading's gonna come right off. But if you air fry it like with it just in place, it kind of adheres better. Um, Ask Jeeves. Oh man. It was like the worst. It was just not a good search engine, but everyone was all about it. We were so extra and like we had such flair back then. I feel like it's like fancier, you know. And then now it's like Google. Before it's like Ask Jeeves, and there was like a little animated butler and everything. Like, who came up with that? Can you throw frozen chicken in air fryer? Yes. Yes. Every day we actually have we have a bag of the another Costco find. I should do a Costco haul, but the brand is Real Good, like Real Good Chicken. We get the chicken strips from them and we air fry them from frozen a lot, like very often. I'm currently in a weird place with them because we got a batch that the texture was different. It was like the stretchy part of the chicken, not the meaty part. And I had like two pieces like that. And I was like, I gotta chill for a little bit. I can't eat this. So I'm on a hiatus with them currently, but usually they're very good. So, okay. You guys are chatting. I love it. Love to see it. I forgot about GV Boy. Right? What's he up to these days? Or like the little paperclip person. It was a smart. What was it? No, that wasn't Smarter Buddy. That was on Word, right? The little paperclip. And then there was the smarter bot on like AOL Instant Messenger. Oh my God, throwbacks. Anyway, I could talk about this random shit all day. So Clippy, yes, it was Clippy. Oh my God, we were so extra. We were children on like a budding technology. It's so funny. Now my like 2-year-old niece can operate an iPad, and we had Chippy. So, oh my God. It had a name. It did. Or no, Clippy. I said Chippy. Um, oh man. What a time to be alive. So anyway, yeah, I hope that this system is exciting to you guys. I hope it seems simple enough to follow. I really, if you're like, I want you to do this. If one day you're like, hey, I have this, how do I use the Byte Builder? I will walk you through it. I will through text or WhatsApp message or whatever. I will walk you through utilizing this because I think once you get the hang of it, it just becomes very easy. And then it's like a lot less mental load. You just throw dinner together in like 20, 30 minutes and you're good. So, all right, I'm going to post tomorrow about the Happy Hormones Club. So look out for that. It's going to be in the Facebook group. And I will see you guys next week where we'll dive more into the methods of cooking and we can go over lots of ideas that you guys can utilize at home. All right, enjoy your night. Love y'all. I'm here for you if you need me. Bye.